We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for Jacks, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting Jacks.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting Jacks Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Emerson Burris will join me in just a bit. Coming up, we'll look back at Wednesday night's meeting with Miami FC, detail the success of the women's team, and get to know Dida Armstrong, who faced his fears before joining Sporting Jacks. But let's start with the opening of a rivalry. There are many factors that can create or fan the flames of a rivalry, but geography is usually a component that can create the conditions for one. On Wednesday night, Sporting Jacks played the first USL Championship game against another team from the state of Florida when they hosted Miami FC. Both teams looking for the first victory of the season and the first result against an in-state opponent. To Hodges Stadium we go, and Sporting Jacks wasted no time getting started. Really, the first attack of the night. Look at this interchange. Dida Armstrong, Emilia Askalainen, Harvey Neville, and Kieran Sadlier puts Sporting Jacks up 1-0. Great start, less than 2 minutes in. 12th minute, off a clearance out of play. Miami goes quickly, catches Sporting Jacks unaware. And Mason Tunbridge, who started his college career at JU, makes it 1-1. Sporting Jacks continue to push. Look at Dida getting into the box here. Draws a foul, that's a penalty, and a chance to retake the lead. Sadlier, the veteran, steps up and buries it. Sporting Jacks up 2-1. That was the score at halftime. Second half did not go the home team's way. 53rd minute, Alessandro Milesi, and we're level again as Miami gets the equalizer. Then after Miami converted a PK to take a 3-2 lead, this dagger, 84th minute, clearly offside. Everybody in the Sporting Jacks shirt calling for it. Replay showed it, but flag stayed down. Matoi Ndongo was offside, but it stands. Miami takes 3 points in Jacksonville, 4-2 the final.
First and foremost, we can't give away 4 goals and expect to win any game of soccer, so that's hugely disappointing for us, especially after a great start, and then getting in half-time 2-1, but we didn't start the second half very well, and the game quickly got away from us, and then we're chasing, and then we left ourselves open and exposed, so it's a sore one. But we have to dust ourselves down. We've got a really quick turnaround to the game at the weekend, which will be another hugely challenging game. So there's no feeling sorry for ourselves.
It's a cliche, but there's always another game. There's always another game in the season. So, and we win on Saturday, then the game's forgotten about. You know what I mean? So you can't dwell on the past. You can't. We'll obviously go and look at the game and the video and look back at the game and things we could have done better and things we did do well. But look, we'll move on to Saturday and we'll try and put it right there.
All right, so here are the numbers from the match. Pretty fair in terms of possession. Miami had some stretches where they had long possession in their own end, but got very pragmatic when they took the lead. A lot of shots for both sides, 27 in total. Sporting Jacks did get some on target, but not enough that went in. Really, it was the defending that was the issue here. Sporting Jacks also not able to do anything with their corners. Miami wins 4-2 the final. So let's take a look at the table in the Eastern Conference. Sporting Jacks in 11th right now. Remember, the top 8 will make it into the playoffs. That's a long way away. Right now, the teams at the top of the table, including Louisville, Tampa Bay, and Charleston, without a loss thus far. Hartford, a team that beat Sporting Jacks, also up there, has not been beaten and just has the one tie. We'll be keeping an eye on the standings as the season progresses. Out west, well, some of the familiar faces and some a little unusual. Oakland roots, San Antonio 1-2, Sacramento always near the top. And once again, the top 8 in the West will make it to the postseason when that arrives. Corey Herzog now with his takeaways from Wednesday night's loss.
The biggest takeaways that we saw was there's flashes in the game where they're doing very well, and then there's flashes in the game where they're not doing so well. So once they get that cohesive and all full 90 minutes, they look like a very, very strong team.
All right, now they get set to face the defending champs. Tough place to play. You've played up there. What do they have, in front of them in terms of facing Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a very strong team, especially at home in that great stadium. It'll be a beautiful sight when we're watching, but they do defend very well. They're very organized, kind of like what you saw out of Miami, the 5-4-1, but I think switching up a little bit. It will be very difficult, but if they can get a point on the road and get more of a 60 to 70-minute game out of the full 90, I think they'll do pretty well.
All right, the men go on the road this weekend, as mentioned, to face the defending champions, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Game kicks off at 7 o'clock on Saturday and can be seen on ESPN+. It will also be heard nationally on Sirius XM. Both the men and the women will be back home for a doubleheader on April 4th. The women kick off at 2, hosting Brooklyn FC. Then the men will face the other Florida rivals, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, at 7:30. Both games can be seen on Channel 4. It's going to be a big day of soccer for Jacksonville fans at Hodges Stadium. For tickets, call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjacks.com. Last Sunday, Sporting Jacks' first-place women's team traveled to Texas to face Dallas Trinity for the third time this season. The last time Sporting Jacks went to Dallas, they came home with a 2-0 victory. That was the start of an impressive stretch of soccer from the women, who had outscored the opposition 20-3 since that game. And this was another impressive performance from Sporting Jacks. To the Cotton Bowl we go. Sporting Jacks, maybe a preview of a playoff matchup. Could certainly happen. Dallas controlled the game early, but late in the first half, Sporting Jacks got it going. Look at this nifty passing. Bailey DeSmit and Ashlyn Puerta, and it's DeSmit who puts it away. 4 straight games with a goal for DeSmit. Sporting Jacks takes the lead. It's also a record for goal contributions for Puerta. More on her season in a moment. Before the break, Sporting Jacks does it again. In stoppage time, watch this angle on the shot from Paige Kenton. One touch past the keeper. Oh, that is fantastic. Goal number 8 on the season for Kenton, third best in the league. It's 2-0 Sporting Jacks at halftime. Second half, more of the same from the league leaders. Long ball ahead for Kenton, who slides it across for the streaking Sophia Bowman. And it's 3-0 Jacksonville, Kenton's league-leading 7th assist of the year, Bowman's 3rd goal of her rookie campaign. A lot of smiles in the Lone Star State. For good measure, in the 84th minute, Jacksonville just toying with Dallas now. Here is Jade Pennick to Julia Lester to Meg Hughes. Hughes finds a little space and puts it away. 2nd goal of the season. She said she had a celebration planned, but completely forgot about it and just went crazy celebrating the goal. I think that's an accurate description. Sporting Jacks equals the season high with 4 goals in a 4th straight clean sheet victory. All right, here are the numbers from this game. Another dominating performance. On the road, Sporting Jacks dominated possession. After the first 20 minutes or so, when Dallas really had the best of it, it was all Sporting Jacks after that. And look at the efficiency. Both sides had 12 shots. Sporting Jacks, half of theirs on target, only a third for Dallas Trinity. And 4 of the 6 shots on target found the mark for Sporting Jacks. Impressive for the first place team in the league.
Honestly, I think we're just a team that's really willing to put our head down and work. I mean, I think in practice every day we're always trying to raise the level, and we have great players from top to bottom. So I think it's like a credit to everyone on the team that practice level is able to stay super competitive. And then I think that's just showing in the games.
I think we're all just so in sync, and our connections have just grown every day. But like how confident we are as a team and in our abilities, and we know what works for us and how to play, and we're seeing the results from doing what we know what to do.
Yeah, obviously we've got momentum, and that helps. Winning helps with the confidence. Goals help with confidence. But, I think that belief carries all the way through. And, we trust them. We have belief in them and full confidence that they could get the job done. And, for us, it's about them. It's their game at the end of the day. So when, the whistle goes, it's all about them. And we trust that they're going to get the job done.
All right, let's take a look at the Gainbridge Super League standings presented by Price.com. Sporting Jacks right at the top of the table. 6 points clear with 8 matches to go. It would be almost unimaginable for this team not to make the playoffs. Question is seeding. Can they stay on top? Lexington still trying to make that charge, but Sporting Jacks leading the league with 12 wins, best goal differential, most goals scored, and a nice little 2-victory cushion with Lexington there in second. Top 4 teams will make the playoffs. 8 matches to go in the season. Let's now welcome in Becky Burley. Becky, it just doesn't stop with Sporting Jacks. They are flying right now.
I know. I think I'm going to have to come up with another term besides dominating performance because, wow, 4-0 on the road against, I think, an arguably very good roster Dallas team. That's quite an outcome.
Yeah, and it's notable that while they've won 4 straight while keeping clean sheets, they're doing it without Ashlyn Puerta scoring goals. She's assisting in other ways, but she hasn't scored since December 20th. What does that tell you about this team's ceiling?
Man, when you've got like a star player in Ashlyn who is also being involved in the goal actions, which I think is showing a depth of her skill level and expanding what she can bring to the team, but you've got other people finishing, and that is just a tough combination to beat because you cannot key on one player.
Well, this team has now outscored the opposition 24-3 since the start of November. What can they do to be better?
You know, I still think that there are some parts of them giving teams pretty good opportunities. And you saw that early in the Dallas game, too. So making sure that they get tight, because as those games start to escalate in nature with the playoffs, you know, it just takes one opportunity by somebody to really change the flow of a game. And so maybe I would think less about the actual 0 on the score sheet from a clean sheet perspective and more on the XG and looking at like, how do we make sure that we're reducing our expected goals against to match what we feel like is going to be necessary to make a strong run in the playoffs.
A lot to look forward to for sure. Thank you, Becky. The Sporting Jacks women are making a push to the playoffs, and you can be a part of it, starting with today's match against Spokane, the final 4 games of the season. You can pick up your Push to the Playoffs pack by calling 904-863-KICK or by logging on to sportingjacks.com. And prorated season tickets are on sale for the Sporting Jacks men's team. You get all the rest of the home games, including at least 2 games in the Prinks Tires USL Cup and all of the action from the USL Championship. Call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjacks.com. Still ahead, he's faced his fears and conquered them. Most of them anyway. How Sporting Jacks' Dida Armstrong prepared for this season. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report rolls on. Every game of the Gainbridge Super League can be seen streaming on Peacock. Home games can be seen on Channel 4, CW17, or right here on the stations of First Coast News. And all games in the USL Championship can be seen streaming on ESPN Plus or CBS Golazo, or nationally broadcast on CBS, CBS Sports Network, and ESPN2. All home men's games can be seen on Channel 4 or CW17. It's time now for our Ascension St. Vincent's Player Spotlight. And this week, Emerson Burris, take a look at a player who was one of the first to sign with the team, but he had some things other than soccer on his mind before starting training camp.
Well, yeah, when I sat down with him, I expected to just talk about soccer, but that conversation quickly turned to something bigger: fear. For Sporting Jacks defender Dida Armstrong, the road to professional soccer didn't start until later than most.
I started playing soccer when I was 14. It ran in my family, but I didn't really pick it up until 14. My dad asked me, he's like, "You want to take it seriously?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess so."
And not long after picking up the game, Armstrong got an opportunity in St. Louis that would change everything.
I went out for an open trial with my older brother, and then we were the only 2 that made it. So it was great to play with my older brother for 2 years, and then he left, and then I had 2 years of my own, and then I came here when I was 21.
Now, they're both pros in the same league on different teams. Dida here in Jacksonville with Sporting Jacks and Ezra with Loudoun United FC, which could set up a brother versus brother matchup.
Pretty cool. It's going to be the first time I get to play against him. I mean, you do it in training, but in the game it's different. I think we always go a little harder than necessary when we go against each other, so I think it'll be really fun.
But when I sat down with Armstrong, the conversation went beyond soccer and into fear, something he confronted head-on when he appeared on this season of Fear Factor.
About a month process. It was a really crazy experience. I would never do it again, but I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'll be honest, my biggest fear is social anxiety. It's been a thing for me my whole life, and it still definitely shapes a lot of what I do in my day-to-day, and especially on the field. I think it's just overcoming what other people think.
It's also why he started his social media series, Daily Dose of Dida, a way to express himself off the field.
Welcome to your daily dose of Dida. Welcome to your daily dose of Dida. Welcome to your daily dose of Dida.
Simple, I just kind of throw some clothes on and talk about nothing. I think it's nice for me because I have a lot of social anxiety, so it kind of mellows it down for me, and, you know, putting it out and just kind of not thinking what people think about or caring what people think about. So it's a way for me to express myself.
And he says being in a competitive environment like this is helping him continue to push past his comfort zone.
The competition is great, you know. It's every single day everybody puts their all out, and it's really important because then it just, you know, as the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. So it's really good, yeah.
Dida says his time on Fear Factor definitely pushed him to his limits. He had 13 needles put in his arm, was electrocuted, injured his ribs, and even had a cricket call in his ear and was rushed to the emergency room. But he says experiences like that helped him learn how to handle fear, something he now applies both on and off the field.
Well, he's been a pretty fearless player so far on the pitch. We look for more from Dida as the season plays out. Emerson, thank you so much. Coming up, we'll have another local high school soccer team to celebrate. This time it's the Mandarin Mustangs, who are led by a major star. That's next, as the Sporting Jacks report rolls on. With both the men's and women's seasons underway, time now to make sure that you are repping your pro soccer team. Get your Sporting Jacks gear at our online fan shop. Go to sportingjacks.com/shop or use that QR code on your screen to pick up your very own Sporting Jacks merch. Time now for the Youth Soccer Spotlight, and it is presented by ViStar. Emerson is back here to take a closer look at another team that made a Final Four run this season. Great program, the Mandarin Mustangs.
Yes, the Mandarin Mustangs made quite a deep playoff run this season, reaching the Class 6A Final Four and the state championship match for the second straight year. But this year's run looked a little different. Mandarin's road to the Class 6A Final Four wasn't easy. After losing two key players midway through the season, the Mustangs had to adjust, with younger players stepping into bigger roles and the team learning to play a different style. Head coach Jason Cooley says as the season went on, the team started to come together, not just by scoring goals, but doing the little things for each other that don't always show up on the stat sheet. He says that mentality is where this group turned into a team capable of making another deep playoff run.
You have to be willing to fall on a grenade for one another. You know what I mean? That I say take a bullet. Maybe those aren't the best words. I'm just real worlding it, I guess. So in soccer, you can make 10 runs, right, and never get the ball, right? To me, that's what I call falling on a grenade for your teammate. You know what I mean? I'm trusting that on the 11th ball, I am going to run and I'm going to get the ball, or the 15th ball, or whatever. You know what I mean? So you have to have that trust with one another, that my run is not in vain. My run is, you know, it solves some other problem. It allows Robert to score a goal. My run allowed Robert to score a goal, or my, you know, whatever allowed someone else to score a goal or make the pass or whatever. So that's what we've always preached. So you have to believe and trust in one another. And that is not, I can talk about it, but they have to be presented with those situations in practice where they learn to trust one another and fall on a grenade for one another. And if you're willing to do that, I'm willing to play you.
Another great season for the Mustangs. Always great talking with the coaches. And I think a lot of the women's team also has that mentality for each other, always just willing to go at it.
And that's what separates good teams from great teams sometimes, is that unselfishness. Emerson, thanks so much. For more on Sporting Jacks in the world of soccer, join me every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL when I'm joined by the likes of Mark Warburton, Stacey Balaam, Liam Fox, and Sporting Jacks players. It's the Sporting Jacks Coaches Show presented by Honda of the Avenues. You can listen on air at 1010 a.m., online or on demand at 1010XL.com. And for behind-the-scenes conversations about Sporting Jacks, join Emerson, Tony Allegretti, and me on the Sporting Pod. You can subscribe wherever you find your favorite podcasts. A new episode drops each week. Still to come, she's cooking. How one Sporting Jacks defender is baking up the storm. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report continues. You can catch the Sporting Jacks Report every weekend on the stations of First Coast News. Next week we air Sunday at noon on ABC 25. Remember, you can also find us on demand on First Coast News Plus and the Sporting Jacks YouTube channel. It is time now for the Community Spotlight presented by Honda of the Avenues. Sporting Jacks defender Zara Siasi has been a great ambassador for the team. The former UNF All-American has also been working on a hobby that's become a small business. Zara's Rise Bakery is rapidly becoming a pop-up sensation, including at a recent event in Jacksonville.
A Pilates studio that I go to, Jet Set, in Jacks Beach, they were doing an event partnering with an apartment complex, and so they messaged me and asked if I wanted to do a pop-up. They were having a mat Pilates class beforehand, and then afterwards there were a couple of vendors that were there, so I was one of them, and that's how it came about. I would say it was a success. I was trying to strategize how much to bake, what to prepare for, just based on the population and numbers, and I think I was pretty close to getting it right. I just enjoy doing it, so it's something fun for me to do on the side. So normally when I get home from training, my recovery looks like chilling on the couch for a couple minutes and then figuring out what orders I have to do for the day or prep for.
Good stuff. If your child is excited about soccer, register now for the competitive season in the Sporting Jacks Soccer Academy. From U18 to U19, teams are forming now. The season runs August through May, with the playoffs to follow. Go to sportingjacksacademy.com to register now. And the first of two doubleheaders is coming up next weekend. April the 4th, the Sporting Jacks women and men will both play at Hodges Stadium. The women host Brooklyn FC, while the men will launch the rivalry with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. You can watch both games on Channel 4. The women will be streaming on Peacock, the men on ESPN+, and we'd love to see you at Hodges Stadium. For tickets, call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjacks.com. And to keep up to date on everything going on with regard to Sporting Jacks, you can follow us on social media on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We're all there. Thanks so much for watching the Sporting Jacks Report. We'll see you next week.